welcome back to the Bankshot Degen's podcast with Denny in the Schrein. I am Matthew Schreiner, the Schrein. I'm here with my buddy, Jacob Denny Denholtz. Denny, how are we doing?
We're doing good, man. Friday, November 3rd, 11:54 p.m., ready to talk some hoops. But before we get into the pod, I just want to give a quick shout out to you, Matt. Your promoting and marketing for this pod has been awesome. I think the biggest thing that you did was putting the link on my birthday story. It hit both your followers and my followers, and actually after that, I heard from multiple friends who started listening to the pod. They said they enjoyed it. You know, they want us to keep going, and then it was even mentioned at the Halloween party.
Yes,
so yeah, I just want to say, hell of a job, man. Appreciate you, and I'm excited that we're gonna keep doing this, man. This is awesome.
Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody that's already taken a listen, and your new friends, new people coming to the pod, welcome. We're excited to have you here, and we want to introduce you to a fun thing we're going to be doing every single podcast, and that is taking a shot for our Seattle Supersonics, because we're going to take a shot until they got their shot back in the NBA, which sounds like it could be soon. So, Denny, here's to the Sonics, baby.
Bring it back, baby.
Bring them back. Woo! All right, Denny. So, for those of you that don't know, I mean, obviously, as any NBA fan would and should, we all have bias. And so Denny biases towards a certain team he likes to call the Phoenix Suns sometimes because of our former boy here from the Seattle Supersonics, draft of 08. The man, KD himself. Denny, what about them Suns? What do you got?
Well, you know, 5 games in, 2-3. They got wins against both the Warriors and the Jazz. You know, they looked all right. They lost against the Lakers and the Spurs twice. Both those Spurs games were very frustrating. Game 1, they were up by 20. The Spurs kind of, slowly worked their way back. As the game went on, Wembanyama was getting more comfortable. The offense was flowing. And then the last play of the game, KD just gets the ball inbounded, and they double him, rip the ball out of his hands, go in for a fast break layup for the win. I get that KD's probably a 90+% free throw shooter. You want the ball to be in his hands at the end of the game, but in a scenario like that, I think there was literally 5 to 6 seconds left. He should have just threw the ball up court, and the game would have been over. So that fucking happened, and then 2 days later they play against him again. And I think in the first quarter, I don't know how many points they had, but it was ridiculous. They were down by 20 already at the end of the first. I stopped watching at that point. The whole team was just quiet. Book finally kind of, picked it up. I mean, KD finally picked it up, but I think it was just quiet performances they had. They were putting up numbers, but the team was not playing well. Wembanyama looked insane that game. I mean, he had 38 points that game, and he really was just looking more and more comfortable. I know that Beal hasn't been playing. Book's been only in for 2 games, but they got to get something going. So not the start we were looking for. The defense is the main issue, though. They don't, every game that they play, the only reason why the other team could be necessarily in it is because these guys do not play defense. Starting with KD, he's horrible at defense, gets blown by a lot, lazy. So they really need to pick it up. They got a 3-game road trip coming up. Sixers, Pistons, and the Bulls before coming back home next week. So not the toughest stretch on the road. Let's see if they can kind of turn it around and come back home ready to take over. But yeah, do you have any comments about the Suns?
No. You're floored, Denny. They were just looking at that DeAndre Ayton trade now. Do you think they'd do it if they meant they were lacking this hard on defense? Like, DeAndre Ayton is that guy who can guard Victor Wembanyama. Like, I hate to say it, the Suns are making Victor Wembanyama look like a generational talent, like everybody says he is. Isn't that crazy?
Nurk, yeah. I mean, Nurk is, I would say, having Nurk is nice because he's more of a playmaker. A little bit Jokic-esque, but not even close to compared to Jokic. But at the same time, he's not like the, he's probably a good defender, but he's not the defensive anchor of DA down low. And so I think that does hurt him a little bit. And so, I mean, there's still a bunch of new pieces on the team. They're still trying to click. I will say the one thing is that when Book has played, he looks locked in. He's been very efficient. I think he's shooting like 50% from the three. He's averaging like 30, even though it's, 2 games, small sample size, but he's been looking pretty impressive. And I think he's carried that in from the playoffs last season. So I'm hoping, once Beal comes back, if ever, we'll get to more of that later, that the team starts clicking.
Yeah, I think they'll be. I mean, I'm not counting them out by any means here. They still, they have 3 wins already still?
They got 2 wins, but,
yeah,
only up from here. Only up from here.
No, they still got all those offensive pieces. They don't have Bradley Beal yet, which was a big part of their trade this offseason.
Yep.
And the biggest thing is, like, I don't think you need to expect more from Nurkic, first of all, to be a defensive presence on the end.
Right.
You cannot depend on KD to be blocking every single power forward and center on the freaking court, man. Like, he
can't block any.
Yeah, no, the man couldn't even bench press at his combine. Like,
yeah, no, he can't block any. So
yeah, so you gotta, as a team, just work better on that.
I will say, on a high note, I think the role players are looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Eric Gordon, is still pretty knocked down from 3.
He is.
And the whole core of the role players, honestly, Grayson Allen, I hate to say it, has been, whenever he's hitting it from 3,
your only defensive piece.
But yeah, whenever he hits, if he's efficient from 3, he's not too bad. So if the role players can keep it up when the main guys come back, it should be light work.
Yeah, completely agree.
But enough about the Suns. How, what do we want to talk about with the Thunder? What are your thoughts?
I got a lot of thoughts. Some great, some bad. First off, I want to first speak. I'm going to go backwards here with the Thunder. We're going to first talk about the game that they just had today. They just played the Warriors in the first game of the play-in tournament, or not the play-in tournament, the in-season tournament. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, about how that works and where thoughts on that, everything is. But today was the first night of it on Friday, November 3rd. And there was a big controversy to the Thunder Warriors game at the very end here, because Draymond decided to hit the rim on Curry's final shot there. 0.02 left on the clock after this went in, right? So the ball went in. It would have gone in without that, like without Draymond, or Josh Giddey was right underneath Draymond as well, pulling down the net a little bit. But Draymond hit the rim, which is by definition been in the NBA for a long, long time. Is if you touch the rim and it's still in the cylinder, then that is a goaltending. Like you touched the rim, like goaltending. But they decided at the end of the game that it was goaltending, but his hand hitting the rim didn't change the trajectory of the ball. So they counted the basket and the freaking Warriors won. It was tied 116 going into that. And the freaking Warriors won. So I was very pissed off about that. But despite that, I'm very, very freaking confident in this Thunder team for the fact that we just almost should have forced an OT without our best point guard, one of the best point guards in the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, out because he had rolled his ankle the other night against the Pelicans. And we lost against the Pels, but it was a really good game against the Pels. We guarded Zion really well. The man was not shooting very, very efficiently. In the end goal, Vucevic kind of just had his way with the entire offense. And so I think, one, like the Thunder are doing what they needed so badly with Chet. He's being a defensive piece down low. He had 7 blocks against the Bulls the other day, or excuse me, the Cavs. And he had, I think, 4 blocks against the Bulls. He's averaging almost 4 blocks a game right now, leading the league in that. And so he's doing a great job. Chet's doing exactly what I wanted him to do. He got 24 points tonight as well. And I know we've lost a few. We've lost first loss was against the Nuggets, who I think are going to win the NBA title. Like, they're just dominant. And I don't think we were that bad against them. So, I'm taking the small victories there. And then we lost against the Pels. And that was a very close game as well. Literally came down to the last minute, and we just couldn't. We're playing a little bit of selfish ball. So I think Mark Dagnall needs to coach a little bit better on that. And then, we lost against the Warriors with a high ankle sprain on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I'm pretty confident in the Thunder so far this season. yeah, Chet's looking good, but I see plenty of room for improvement. But that's exactly what you want out of a rookie, is showing signs of greatness, but doesn't, he doesn't have it figured all out. I mean, you can't know what to expect once you get to there. So
it's just a young core. The whole team is just young, and so it's all you can do is look up from there. Obviously, they're gonna keep developing. Shy is crazy. J-Dub, J-Will, Chet, Giddy.
Yeah, every young
their
guy
first
on that team
three years, so it'll be, and with the draft picks also.
Yeah, Casey Wallace is doing really good, defensively, 3-point, everything.
I'm telling you, he's a really good defender.
Yeah,
that was the thing. I think thing he was known for, I think, at Kentucky, was just a lockdown defender. Big Casey Wallace guy.
So now I feel fine if we have Lou Dort or Casey Wallace or J Dubs.
Yep.
Or Chet. Like, I'm confident every single one of those people to defend any piece on the floor. I'm really impressed with J Dubs more this season than anybody on this team. He is beefed up. He's getting in there. He's taken a dip points-wise so far, but he didn't pop off for points until late in the season last year anyways. But J-Dub is looking dominant. He said he put on some weight. He said he was at the gym all off season so he can bully some of these people in there, and he bullied his way against Zion. And he's not shied down from a fight from any big man on the court so far. So, yeah, I'm very excited for this Oklahoma State Thunder.
Well, we'll have to give some more updates about our teams going forward. But the small sample size, it sounds like we both are looking for some improvement. Maybe a lot of improvement from our teams. And they both have the pieces to do it.
Yeah.
So
those are two Western Conference teams right there. But Denny, I heard we got a friend in the house today.
We got our boy Jason B. Richardson over here. Special guest star today for the pod. Eastern Conference fan.
Yeah.
Boston Celtics fan. Jason, let's hear a quick rundown of the Celtics so far this year.
I know everybody's here. It's really tough not having a mic because there's a lot of things that were said that I really wanted to interject on, but I'll save that for later, except for the fact that Chet's only averaging 2.6 blocks per game, not 4 that Matt was talking about earlier, but that's besides the point. Celtics are 4-0. The spacing is insane with this team. If everyone keeps shooting the way that they're shooting and playing some okay defense, haven't really beat anybody spectacular yet, but I think you got Philly up on Wednesday. It's going to be a great test for these boys, and I think Bucks went out there, made a big trade, big splash with Dame, but I think the Celtics are the better team, and you'll be seeing them losing to the Nuggets because I think Jokic is just that much better. So that's your Celtics minute. I'll just be sitting over here frustrated. I don't have a mic and can't interject more when these guys are spewing off some of these tapes here, but that's okay. We'll work on it for the future. I'll try and write some of them down and share them with you guys later. Don't you worry.
Thank you for that, Jason. Also, I just want to say the Celtics are just always impeccable about having crazy starts to the season. I think it was last year they went like 18-2 or whatever to start the year. Then you went down, kind of on a losing streak a little bit, kind of fluctuated after that. Yeah, right. Okay. So, hey, I think they can do it again. Jason Tatum, he's the guy. He is the guy.
It's a Jason thing.
Yeah. Well, looking into, big news around the league, Matt, obviously we got to talk about the Harden trade. Looking into this, both sides of it, who do we got? Who went where?
So the Clippers got James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Phil Petrusev in the deal, and the 76ers got 2028 unprotected Clippers first round pick, protected 2026 first round pick, and 2029 first round pick swap, and 2 second round picks, a 24 and 29 as a draft compensation. 76ers are also receiving Robert Covington, Nick Batum, and KJ Martin, and Marcus Morris, not Markeith, from the Clippers. The Thunder, Sam Presti cannot have a single trade involve the Clippers without getting involved. So Thunder jumped in. It is a 3-team trade, and the Thunder sent their least favorable of the 2026 first round picks of theirs to the Sixers, and the Thunder get a unprotected clip from the Clippers in 2027. Denny, what do you think about this trade? Start off with the players involved, and then we'll go to the draft compensation after that.
So starting for the Clippers side of it, obviously talking about Harden. I think if Harden can come in with the right mindset, I think that this team can be really scary. But that mindset is he's got to realize that the offense is still running through PG and Kawhi. This is their team. He needs to be more of a pass first point guard, which he necessarily hasn't been. Yes, he led the league in assists last year, but he's still, he's averaged 21 on 15 shots probably. And PG and Kawhi, especially PG, are volume shooters. PG's a guy that has to get up shots to kind of get a rhythm going. And we've seen that already this far into the season, 5 games in. I think he's averaging like 27, but he puts up a lot of shots. And he was 8 of 17, but he had 27 the other night. And in the first quarter, he was 1 for 8. So he just needs heavy volume. The same isn't necessarily said about Kawhi, but I think PG just has to realize that he's not going to be, Harden has to realize that he's not going to be averaging 25 and 10 a game. He can still average, I think, 15 and 10, but it just needs to be a efficient 15 and 10. So by that, I mean, he needs to be kind of more of a catch and shoot guy probably than a create his own shot guy. Maybe he can come off the pick and roll, look for a shot there. But I think if the offense is running through PG and Kawhi, they will double or collapse, and Harden will find himself open for a catch and shoot opportunity. And he really doesn't miss those. And so I think if that offense can kind of work like that, it'll work well. Harden came out the other day and said that when he was talking about his time in Philly, he's not a system player, he's the system. Kind of a boss move saying that, but if he's coming in with that mindset into LA, we'll see kind of what happens. Obviously, we'll have to monitor. It'll be interesting. My main concern is with Westbrook. He was the facilitator, kind of the floor general of the team. But essentially his role, he's very good at it, but he needs the ball in his hands. And in this offense, it's probably going to be in Harden's hands. So will Russ have to come off the bench? I don't know. But we've seen what he can do when he comes off the bench. But before I kind of go into more of it, your boy Russ, what do you think about Russ? Do you think he's going to have to go to the bench? You think he stays? I'm just worried if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's just not as kind of effective, in the whole game.
No, yeah. I mean, we already saw videos of them when Harden showed up to the locker room. Russ is excited to have James Harden back. They were bros. In when they first started out. They both got drafted by Oklahoma City Thunder. They were bros. They loved it, and then they had some friendly banter and some hugs off court when they played each other in Thunder versus Rockets. They've been in this league in a long time. They know each other very well. And so I think that only helps them in the long run, as even though both of their games have changed dramatically since they were blasted on the team together, I definitely think they both know, they still know each other, who they are, and what kind of shooter they was puts them best. And so I think Russ, he's played so much ball in the past when he's had to, but I think Russ, especially while he's in his time in LA, is there to help his teammates, and like you said, the floor manager, floor general, and he's really putting his team, he's doing what's best to put his team in the best hands. So if he thinks he can make a shot, he pulls up to a shot. Like, he's not going to waste a moment, but he's also making these obscene passes where he's trying to pass the ball around, get movement going, and he's giving it to the people he's open, and he's getting it to who he thinks is going to win the game. He's playing selfless ball a lot more, and I saw this specifically in this last game here. Was a huge game, probably my game of the week. This last game of the season so far, actually, was Lakers Clippers, the classic LA matchup. The game ended up going to a tie because of Paul George, and just mainly Paul George, honestly. But that game, Kawhi ended with 30 plus, Paul George ended with 30 plus, and Russ was 1 rebound away from triple double, as natural,
with like 4 steals, was it? 4 or 5 steals,
and it was a great game. Scored like 24 points, or I think from that 20.
He finished around there, I think.
Like those are 3. Like, that's a lot of that production is going to go down with Russ no matter what, because Harden's going to shoot, but Harden's not going to take away from his assist game. Harden's not going to take away from his rebound game for sure. Right. He's like the only point guard that rebounds like crazy. So I'm excited. This trade's gonna be good. I know Russ is excited to have James Harden there, at least from what we see.
Maybe Harden becomes more of a spot up guy, catch and shoot guy, and then
I think he needs
Russ,
to.
and then Russ just facilitates. If that happens, that's it. That's a scary
Russ,
team.
I mean,
there.
Harden really.
But you're right. Russ and Harden, they've known each other forever, and so they're boys. I think if they can kind of click, kind of mesh for that leadership, all those guys are leaders in the locker room.
Yeah,
I think if they all can come together, it should be a scary team.
Yeah, fun fact: James Harden led the league, but the same season, he led the league. Like I think it was a league record, 3 points made. But that same season, he also held the same record for three-pointers missed. So that man had like the most attempts of 3 points
Right, crazy
ever.
attempts. Yeah,
That's when he was just like a lone man team over there in Houston.
Yep, just doing his thing.
Yeah. So that was a crazy trade. It was great to see. I'm like low key excited just for the Russ and PG aspect of it. I do miss Harden, obviously.
Last thing I want to say about the Clippers. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. Yeah. Go.
Again, when we talk about this team health, I was listening to a podcast the other day, kind of talking about duos in the playoffs in terms of how many games they've played together out of all the games they've been on the team together. PG and Kawhi have been on the same team for 37 playoff games. They've only played in 23 together. 62% of playoff games they've played together.
Of course.
That's it's probably one of the lowest out of any duo that's made the playoffs that often. So that just goes back to health. It's all about health, that team. But I mean, if they can stay healthy, that should be a scary team. They were my 5 in my preseason rankings. We'll see if they bump up a little bit.
What if KD goes to the Clippers? Just hear me out.
I mean, it fits his MO. And that's my boy. I hate to say it, but it fits his MO.
What if KD is like,
dude, wait.
You know what? I know we low key
dirty like that, bro.
I know we low key fighting on the floor. We've been talking shit at each other, up in each other's faces. But you know what, Russ? I kind of love you, and I'll meet you up in LA.
Hey man, after that All-Star game they had where he threw that oop.
Oh, the whoosh! Yeah,
was one of the greatest moments of my life. After seeing all that beef,
like come on.
After seeing all that beef, because they were always going at it
in each other's faces,
and so to see that they do that,
I remember that game like no tomorrow. Man,
I hated seeing that shit.
I was that rowdy fan. I was that man up there yelling cupcake. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna hide from it.
I mean, I don't blame you. If you're especially being a Russ supporter, like if I was a Russ supporter, I'd be getting hyped.
Yeah.
If he was getting in KD's face like that.
Oh yeah.
But to answer your question, if KD were to go to the Clippers, I'd be like, damn, he's doing Book dirty, and he's just fulfilling his MO even more.
That happens. You and me are going straight to Simon's house. All right, Denny.
Before we move on, can I just say a couple things about the Sixers?
Yes, go.
So with this trade, it really just opens up the floor for Tyrese Maxey even more. And I think, Tyrese Maxey's already a huge player on that team, already puts up great numbers. I think this is his backcourt now with no Harden. And we already talked about in the last pod, we didn't know what Harden's situation was. So we were saying how Maxey's going to have a great year. I think this can even, I don't want to say a breakout year because I think he's already kind of had that. But, I don't want to necessarily say, I don't want to go far enough to say an all-star year, but I could think he can have a very impressive year for the Sixers. And so I'm very interested in that. Last thing I want to say, in this trade, PJ Tucker goes to the Clippers. I don't think the Sixers really have someone to guard that like taller forward position now, like a Tatum, a KD, maybe even a Jimmy Butler. They don't really necessarily have someone to guard or just even have like a defensive presence on the floor to, at least feel comfortable. Oh, this guy's going to be able to, get this guy down low or
best corner 3 ever.
Yeah. Or yes, best corner 3. I think that was maybe a big hit. I mean, they got back Rocco, Batum.
They got a pretty good load back.
Yeah. I was just gonna say defensively.
Yeah.
Rocco I would say would probably be the next best defender, so it may not be as bad as I think it would be, but I think just losing PJ Tucker though would be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I think both these teams really just benefit in the long run. I don't think there's a lose here.
Oh yeah, Batum's
biggest.
He's always open. He always is knocking down shots.
Biggest winner though, obviously, is the Thunder for just fucking over the Clippers again.
Yeah,
it's the best part.
Also,
we own them.
What time did Woj drop this at?
Woj bomb. I was like 11.
It was 11 our time.
Yeah,
and
this man, classic Woj. This man and Shams are the two best tweeters out there for the NBA news. Just like our Shefty over there in the NFL as well. But so Woj literally has to board a flight, and Woj literally wanted to get this so bad before Shams that he literally missed his flight because it was literally boarding and taking off. He's like, I need to get this out. So he literally misses his flight in the airport and just to drop the Woj bomb.
I fucking love it, dude. I love Woj.
That's called commitment.
Did I tell you that I got a photo? Me and Simon got a photo with him at the summer league.
That's okay. That's pretty legendary.
Win lobby, just in the casino. Like we're just walking by one of the bars and we just saw him up there. So we went up to him. We were just like, whoa. We were like, yo, Woj, can we get a photo? He was like, yeah. So we took a photo and I told him he was the GOAT. Shook his hand. He was like, thank you, appreciate it.
Damn.
And then Simon's brother Justin ran into Shams later after we had already left the hotel, like leaving Vegas. He got a photo with him.
I didn't realize how young Shams was actually.
He's pretty young. Or I don't even fucking know.
He was up on the K Adams show, the Up and Adams show. I was like, damn, this is Shams. I don't know why. You always look at the Twitter profile.
Damn. Oh my god.
I know. Anyways, so you have old Woj and young Shams. I hope Woj is winning, man. I mean, for everything. Woj is winning.
Yeah.
The man missed his flight.
Yeah.
All right, Denny. Let's move on from that trade. I want to talk a little bit about injuries because sucks to hear, but we're dealing with a lot of injuries really early on in the season. Some due to preseason, some due to other reasons. I'll let you go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll start off with the main guy, I feel like, and that's Bradley Beal. He hasn't played this season so far. He, I think, only played 2 games in the preseason, hasn't played since October 12. Reports also were that his back hasn't been right for weeks and that there's no timetable for its return. I honestly don't know if this injury came... I mean, I guess it must have happened during the preseason since he played 2 games. But I never really heard like a big... I never saw a big play or a big kind of article or whatever about the injury. Do you know anything about that? I really don't know much about that injury. I haven't looked into it.
I was just shocked. I was expecting to play, but I had no idea.
Yeah, and so I mean, with the like new load management policies too, I'll go into that more in a second. It's interesting to see what the season looked like for him. Obviously, I was talking about it in the last pod. He's one of those guys where he's had injuries a lot, especially these past couple of years, and he's been on load management. So it'll be interesting to see. But even looking around the rest of the league, Book now has played 2 games, but I mean, he's missed time. I think Darius Garland has played 1 game. I'm not sure if the Cavs played tonight, but Darius Garland's only played 1 game. Cam Johnson's only played 1 game, and he's going to be reevaluated in, I think, 10 days. Darren Fox just went down with an ankle injury. He's going to miss some time. We were talking about, I think, Anthony Simons. He got that wrist surgery. He's out 6 weeks. And so it's weird, that injuries have just been plaguing the league. I mean, there's other guys, too, that I haven't even played yet. Obviously, Beal, Jared Allen, Jared Vanderbilt, Trey Murphy. And so it's just really interesting to see how many injuries there have already been, either from the preseason or recovering from something in the off season. And we're 2 weeks in, and it seems like injuries are already starting to kind of add up. So it's and then looking, especially for kind of those big time players with load management. They have, they set this new policy for load management this year. Back, I think last year, they set the new rule that you have to play at least 65 games to be eligible for any of the major awards in the league.
Yeah.
And then this offseason, they created like a new policy. That means it says you cannot rest more than one star player from a game. A star player is identified as someone who's been an all-star or an all-NBA in any of the last 3 seasons. But it says that you have to make stars available for nationally televised games and in-season tournament games.
So by that definition, Victor Wembanyama is not a star.
Did he not play?
He didn't play an all-star or all.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's
what I think it's dumb.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say, but you have to define a star. And I think
I guess that's how they define it. Someone who's been an all-star or all-NBA in any of the last 3 seasons.
We
talk about for a rookie.
Yeah, like we talked about, Victor Wembanyama is generational talent, and you can technically rest him, and you can argue this against the league because that's what they did define. They didn't define rookies.
Right.
Rookie was not an all-star. Rookie didn't do any all-NBAs.
NBA. Yeah, hasn't even played fucking 3 seasons.
Exactly.
So shit. I didn't even think about that when I was writing all these notes down.
No,
that's actually a good point.
So yeah, I think it's.
It could be anyone who hasn't even played 3 seasons in the league.
Yeah, or you could have someone who literally just popped off last year and was like a great person this year.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Wow.
Like Halliburton, right?
Right.
Yeah, he was probably one of the top players on the Sixers offense right now, or just in general.
Right.
Like, he's technically not considered a star player, even though I think a lot of people other than JoJo would call him a star player on that team.
I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I think it's.
I didn't even realize that point. So
yeah, I think that's where you like kind of look at it as like, oh, why do they have to say star player, and then why do they have to define the star player in that kind of way?
Fuck, man. That was really. I guess we're just gonna see how it plays out this year. The league, I guess, in the policy claims they're going to be sending out some pretty harsh punishments, but we'll see if they even send out the punishments. So
yeah, we'll see.
I mean, it's just money. $100K for the first fine, $250K for the second fine. I mean, we'll see, but like you've been saying, we'll see if they even investigate or even do that shit.
Yeah.
So, just kind of looking overall at injuries and load management. Obviously, only 5 games in, but it's really already starting to affect the league, and we'll just have to kind of monitor it. I fucking hope Bradley Beal comes back soon. The Suns need him, so let's get him back.
Yes, sir. All right, Denny.
You and I have been having some good back and forth with all these topics, but my little bit drunk and high ass has totally forgot about our boy, and so Jason, I apologize for that. Just give us your spiel of everything we've discussed so far, kind of what your thoughts are.
Accepted.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. And so, just let us know what you're thinking from everything we talked about, our takes and all that.
Oh, absolutely. I have been taking notes, so don't worry, everybody.
We're
going to start at the bottom and go up to the top. Matt's hate for Wemby is just sad. He's just jealous that Chet didn't get his year in the spotlight last year because Chet's a really fun guy. And I think that season off was huge for him to build muscle and stuff, but the fact you just hate Wemby this much is a bad look for you, buddy. It just doesn't look good on you. The load management's a fascinating system. I think it's going to be a fun test period this year for the NBA, and I think it'll be really fun. What if teams just start faking injuries and pay off a third party and get them to sit more? It's a thing that could happen.
Fuck, that's a good point.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know.
Right. There's so many ways to just go through the system.
Yeah, and it's not a perfect system either. But
right.
And I get if I'm an out of town, if I drive down to Portland to go watch an NBA game and I want to see Wemby, who only comes there a few times a year, I want to make sure he's out on the court.
Yep. And
or if KD is out there for the Suns, I want to make sure he's out there on the court. I want to see my guys, and I get it's part of the game, got to be safe, but that's just fascinating. And then lastly, the Clippers deal. What are the Clippers doing here? How many teams has James Harden left on? 3. So he left on the Rockets.
Yep.
Got the fat suit out. Pulled some similar shit with the Nets.
Pulled some bullshit with the Nets.
Yeah,
and then wanted out and just fucking left.
And got out.
Got out.
His way out.
Yep.
And now he's out of Philadelphia, which is where like they just didn't pay him a lot of money.
Bloody.
It was all same. It's been bloody every time.
Yeah.
And like, there's only one basketball, right? Have the rules changed recently, or no?
Nope.
No, Matt's shaking his head no. So yeah, there's still just one basketball.
There's one. Only one person can have it at all times.
Yeah. So who stormed? Like, how do you keep everyone operating at that Clipper side of things?
That's the question.
Yeah.
We'll see if everything has to work out perfectly for it to work.
Yeah, exactly.
So and the question is, will it work? We'll
big
see.
risk.
It is.
Max is going to be a dog for the 76ers. A little afraid of him to see what he's going to become from a Celtics perspective in the future, but
Maxey, dude.
I'm not worried about him. He's bum right now. So he will be a dog. You can hear that. You heard that here first. All right, I'll send her back over to Matt, and I'll be taking more notes, folks. So don't you worry.
Well, I'm going to make it my mission not to forget you. We will make sure to include your opinions on all these topics, Jason. And thank you again for being here, man. It's an honor that you're on the pod. Episode 2, first guest. I wouldn't want anyone else to be the first guest on this pod. Welcome, Jason.
I can think of a few people. Nah, I'm just kidding, Jason. We love you. All right. We're going to do a quick look into the NBA City Editions. So, if you don't know, the NBA drops new City Edition jerseys every year since, I want to say, about 2015, 2016. They've had them for a while. Some of them are really good. Some of them are really bad. So we're kind of taking a look at these overall jerseys right now. They kind of try to make a story out of these that has to do with the team itself. So, for example, like the Miami Vice jerseys, one of my favorite ever was nice City Edition that the Miami had the last couple of years. And, Miami Vice is just those colorful, those lovely colors. An old show from when my mom watched, apparently. I don't know. She's old. Love her, though. Love you, Jody. Sorry if you're hearing this. Denny, I got up on screen right here right now. The City Editions. Just pick a couple that you might like and take a couple that you might think are just stupid.
This is, I'm trying to even look at these. Hold up. Yes.
So Denver's is just hilarious. Like, I think it's so funny that like, oh, we're a mile high. Let's put how many feet it takes to get to a mile on the front of the jersey. Like, that's just some funny shit, man. And then I think that's really it. The rest of them are kind of mid.
Do you like any of them?
I don't like the fact they do these every year. I get they're like cool stories and such, but like you kind of take away from the story when you try and tell a new one.
What do you think of the Boston one?
I know it has to do with a gym outside of Boston there where like basketball was founded. It's like all about the gym there. So like whatever, like cool story.
Yeah.
But like when you do it every year, it kind of takes away from it all. So, but those are just my thoughts.
Okay. Which one's the one that says culture on it? Is it? Oh, that's supposed to be. I was about to say
culture. I think that's one of the dumbest ones. It does nothing else, just black and red. It just says heat culture.
Yeah,
nothing special.
None of these really like pop out to me in terms of ones I enjoy.
I like the shout out to Miss Fat for teaching me 5 tomatoes for my mile and feet. 5280 maybe. That's kind of a funny one actually. I like I think the cool ones I like the Timberwolves a lot. It's got the icy blue. Those look freaking sick. And I also really like the District of Columbia. Those are kind of cool. A little bit different, like different color scheme, which a lot of people complain about. It's just taken away from like the original team. They were just completely made up colors.
I feel like those Utah ones look like their old school jerseys.
Yeah, the Utah looks kind of old school, but kind of new. It's kind of nice.
Is that not their old school jersey?
It's like
time out.
No, it's kind of similar, but
maybe a little bit different. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, other than that, it's just everything else. Oh, I like Indies quite a bit. Indies kind of got this like
that's cool.
This 90s neons kind of vibe or 80s. pretty cool. Obviously indie racing culture over there.
The Suns one looks like one of their other fucking jerseys. Doesn't even look any different. So there's just no Y in the Valley.
Yeah,
it's the only difference. Same color. So.
KC's boring. San Francisco's boring.
I honestly haven't really even seen any of these until right now.
NOLA's boring. H-Town boring.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jason. Most of these are pretty mid.
They're pretty mid.
Really nothing stands out to look at.
Even more exciting part of the play-in tournament, they have these lovely new floors that they have specifically for these play-in the season tournament. And what do you think about these floors?
I think they were released a couple days ago, or some time ago on Instagram, so you're able to see photos of them, but they were like digital photos. They weren't the actual court. And so I will say that when I saw clips of games today, I didn't realize how defined the colors were, how like I don't know. Some of the games I feel like I couldn't even see the players, or my focus was not on the players.
There's some pretty bad ones.
Yeah. They're doing this because of the in-season tournament, right?
Yeah, it's to promote the in-season tournament. So
how is that supposed to promote the in-season tournament?
Dude, I don't know. It literally just looks like a 2K floor. It's like literally just they literally just do a 2K floor.
Like on your My Team, you can create your own.
They probably
court.
Created these courts in 2K, and then
we're gonna put this in. I don't understand it. I don't know what the hell the reason for it is.
To continue their sponsorship with EA Sports.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think about the city jersey? Any more thoughts on the city jerseys? And what are your thoughts on the new courts?
The new courts are ridiculous. It's a nice thing to post on Twitter, so you can get a lot of interaction from the aggregator accounts in your main account. It's just kind of like meh. It's hard to watch basketball on that screen. Cool how the trophies in the middle of them, though. It's the only cool redeeming part of them.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
The in-season tournament cup.
Yeah, we'll be talking more about that in a little bit, but right now we're going to go over kind of our, the rankings so far, standings so far in the year. We're going to start off with kind of someone we're, surprised with in a good way, and someone we're surprised with in a bad way from both conferences. Starting with the Eastern Conference, let's go with the Western Conference. Matt, what is a team that you've been surprised by in a good way? What team is performing well that you did not necessarily expect them to?
I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Pelicans. They're looking good. Zion's beating Zion. They're looking a good team. Obviously, they beat my team, so I'm a little salty, but I gotta put respect on the team. They have a lot of people in depth in that team now. CJ McCollum's sharpshooter. The Valanciunas down there with Zion kind of all over the place. I think it's good for them. It's a good team. I'm excited to see what they do here.
My main concern from them is just another team with health issues. Honestly, obviously you see it with Zion, and then also another person who's been hurt a lot is Bi. Mm-hmm. Bi is hurt a lot.
Yeah, he's injured right now, I think.
Yeah, I think he's been out with a foot injury.
Yeah, I didn't see him play against.
I feel like he's had a history of foot injuries too, and he's a prominent role in the offense. Yeah. I mean, Bi's a hooper, and I feel like these are the prime years of his career that he's just. This is not the first year he's been hurt. It's been for a while, and I feel like these are just the prime years he's losing with injuries. So
yeah,
but they've had a great start so far. Anything else you want to add about the Pels?
Nah, I think they're shocker. Will I think this will continue their success? I don't know. Like you said, I'm kind of weird about the injuries. Brandon Ingram, I'm with you on that point. I don't know if they can continue. Right now, they're currently at the 4 spot, tied with the Mavericks, who are also 4-1, with Denver and Golden State both at 5-1. I don't think they sustain this, especially going to this play-in tournament, the in-season tournament, especially the in-season tournament coming up. I don't think they'll be as competitive as a lot of these other teams that are playing for this.
Yeah, they're playing well. I think a team that I have that has been surprising me by their play so far has been the Mavs. I have a lot of bias against the Mavs just because of how their season ended last year, pulling their guys out. it was an opportunity to get in the playoffs. I feel like if they had their guys in and were locked in, they could have potentially made it. But this season, they're now 4-1. They just lost tonight to the Nuggets. But before that, they were 4-0. Luka's averaging 34, I think 10 and 10 right now. I think he's shooting 50 from the field, 40 from the three. And he's doing this all while Kyrie's been hurt. I think Kyrie played today, and I think that was his second game of the year, possibly third game of the year. And so honestly, what I've seen from their offense so far this year is they got a lot of shooters right now. Got a lot of catch and shoot guys, and so when Luka,
they're draining out there.
I mean, everyone on that team can shoot. They have Grant Williams, Tim Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry, fucking Maxi Kleber is opening up the floor, hitting threes. And so when you have guys like Kyrie and Luka being able to just create, drive, have the defense collapse, kick out, when guys are hitting their threes, it's really hard to stop that team. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We'll see if they keep it up. Luka again had 34, 10 and 8 tonight. He's been playing out of his mind right now. And another player who I've been impressed with, he hasn't necessarily done as much on the stat sheet, but he's playing an important role out there on the floor, is Derek Lively, their rookie. He's been playing well. So that's a team that I'm impressed with. Going over to Jason. Jason, do you have a team in the Western Conference that you're kind of surprised by how they've started in a positive way?
No surprises. Everybody's doing exactly what I expected out here. So
it's good to hear. Yep.
Yeah, I had this all planned out a week ago. This is how it was going to be going.
There we go. Hey, so he's feeling good.
The all-knowing Jason. Everybody.
Yep. Hey, well, so going to still in the Western Conference, Matt. Who's a team that's not been performing well that you're surprised by?
I think it's just quite obvious. It's got to be the Memphis Grizzlies. They're 0-6. I said
so they lost again tonight.
Yeah, they lost tonight.
Who did they lose to? Let's go look.
The Trailblazers.
They lost to the Blazers by 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was an OT, wasn't it, Jason? Yeah,
wow.
It was an OT tonight, and they didn't even come close in OT. So
Jaren Jackson had 30, Desmond Bane had 33.
Marcus Smart looked like crap.
Yeah, the fact that David Roddy is their third highest scorer is nuts.
Yeah,
Marcus Smart had 8, 0 for 5 from 3, 4 from 12 from the field. This is also my team, by the way.
It's no doubter.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably no doubter. They're 0-6. I mean, obviously, you don't have Ja, but you still have Desmond Bane. You still have Triple J. I mean, you have Marcus Smart. Yeah. Marcus Smart is a great defender. He's a great facilitator, can find his own shot. So I am very surprised that this team haven't won a game.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They ain't been it.
I don't really have too much to say on them. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, I mean, obviously you have Jaw out for another 30-ish games. Yeah, because he's 36 games suspension.
It was a 25 game suspension.
Yeah, 25 games suspension. So
he's got,
still 30 games.
He's got 20 games left.
Math wise, he's making
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
But I mean, that's still a quarter of the season. He's missing, so it's big.
It's drastic, but I mean, I think they're gonna get their shit together, and especially when Jaw's back, he gonna be holding the gun. So
yeah,
I think they'll be good.
Yeah. Hopefully, Derrick Rose can maybe be that role model
D-Rose.
to create an adult in the room for Jaw. We'll see. We'll see if it plays out. We gotta wait 20 more games because this guy's a fucking wreck.
Absolutely. All right, to the Eastern Conference, Denny.
Yep.
Give me shockers. Give me a positive shocker first.
Yeah. So I would say, okay. Well, first off, for those that don't know, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are all 3-2. So the standings necessarily, it doesn't really necessarily matter right now for a team I'm about to say. I have 2 teams that I'm kind of been impressed by so far just by their record. I mean, obviously it's a small sample size. One is the Orlando Magic. They're looking, pretty well right now. They beat, I think, the Rockets, the Blazers, and the Jazz, and they had a really close loss to the Lakers. I think they lost by 2 to the Lakers. They looked really good in that game. So I've been impressed. Paulo's been playing well. Franz Wagner, I think, has been their leading scorer so far. Cole Anthony's been playing well. They got a lot of role players, a lot of young guys on that team. The question is, will they keep it up? Because, I mean, this is a super small sample size. We'll see. So I have them. And then another team that I've been impressed by, just because they don't necessarily have the greatest starts or the greatest standings anyways in the East, and that's the Atlanta Hawks. They've had good wins so far. They beat the Bucks by, I think, 20. The bad game from Dame, but they still had a great win for that. Trae Young's been playing well, but his 3-point shooting's been bad. I think he's 25% from 3 right now. DeJounte's been playing well. And a guy who's been kind of rising for that team is Onyeka Okongwu.
Yeah, Okongwu.
I think right now he's playing an efficient 23 minutes a game. He's really starting to eat away at Capella's minutes, but I think Capella's kind of on his way out. Okongwu's in. He's been playing really well. Obviously, there's both early sample sizes for these teams, but those are the teams I'm impressed by. Who is your team? Is it either of those teams, or do you got a different team up there?
I'm gonna go with the Pacers. They look good.
That's your team right there. I think that finished out your rankings, preseason rankings.
Yeah, I think they deserve the Eastern Conference. And I think they're going to continue to do good. They got a good young core over there too. Former Gonzaga guy Andrew Nembhard over there, actually getting some good minutes out there, which I'm really excited to see. And they got a good stack team. They're doing exactly what I thought they were going to do. I guess I'm Jason, all-knowing. I knew the Pacers are going to do this good. Don't believe me. I'm going to go straight into my biggest shocker on the low-wise, just because I think everybody expects a lot more. Is just the Milwaukee Bucks. But I'm going to do two shockers. One's the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis is not looking like MVP caliber at all right now. Do you blame that on Dame? Do you blame that on himself, or what do you do there? And I don't know who to blame specifically, but they need to figure out how to play together, Dame and Giannis, and they need to figure out how to get this team a 3-2. Obviously, like you said, stupid early, but they play the way they've been looking at it. They ain't gonna win no Eastern Conference at all.
Yeah, I also have the Bucks as my shocker for bad team, but first I want to go over to Jason to see who his team that's been playing well that he's shocked by. Let's hear it.
I love how unserious the Washington Wizards are. I do have some negative thoughts about Jordan Poole just because of where he went to college, so I will hold that against him. But some of the shots that he takes and looks back, some of the low light clips of him are just so funny. And I just think, and Wizards down 20, they just throw it off the backboard for a 6 slam, cuts the lead to 18 that they're now down by. Was just an all-time clip on Twitter. And I just don't think they're going to be a very serious team.
Was it Porzingis that blocked him when he walked back out to the 3 and then pulled that shot?
Yeah.
Was that Porzingis?
That was Porzingis.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? And then everyone was clowning on him that he was this guy's in a video game or some shit.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. Oh, and also shout out to the Bucks fan who hit a half court shot and won $10,000.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I think it should be a little bit more for hitting a half for someone random coming out of the stands at a half court. In front of all those people,
they're deserving more.
I'd say that's a $15K at a minimum.
National TV.
Oh, yeah. If it's national TV, if it's on TV,
if it's on,
you put that up to 25. Come on,
you bump it up. I agree.
But yeah, Washington was unserious and excited to see how bad they'll be this year.
Do you have a team you're impressed by that's been doing well?
No, very happy with my Celtics. I think it's more just shocking that I think the Bucks was a very good point of they're just trying to figure it out here, but they need to kick it in gear sooner rather than later, because the way the Celtics are looking, it's just not a lot of time to be dropping games right now, but a lot of basketball ahead of us.
Yeah, just kind of talking a little bit more about the Bucks. I understand that it might take a little bit of time. Obviously, I think the main thing is that because they have Adrian Griffin coming in, so it's a new coach, it's a new system, new offense, and so the guys that are still there, Giannis, Middleton, Lopez, all of them, they have to now adjust to that new offense, and then you have Dame coming in, who's got to adjust to that offense and get used to playing with the new team. And so I think there's just some growing pains, and it'll take time. I didn't necessarily expect it, but that's because I was biased about Dame for many reasons, including fantasy purposes. And so, he's not playing bad right now through 6 games, but the main thing is that he's struggling from 3. I think he's just struggling to find a shot right now. Might be forcing it a little bit. One stat that I saw, I don't remember the specifics of it, but basically what I saw is that right now in that offense, out of the pick and roll, Dame and Lopez are doing more pick and roll than Dame and Giannis, which should not be happening. I was talking about it in the last episode. We were, Dame and Giannis after the pick and roll should be unstoppable, because you have to close out and then you leave him up. It's so easy. And so the fact that they're doing more pick and roll with Brook Lopez than Giannis, it's concerning. I'm hoping it's just growing pains. They watch film. Adrian Griffin learns, adapts. We'll kind of see. So yeah, that kind of rounds out our shockers for both conferences. Just kind of looking at the standings in general, the kind of records for both, on both sides, kind of in power ranking terms. What are your kind of thoughts right now on any teams? Any surprises? Anything like that?
One person, another kind of like a shocker where I was kind of disappointed in them is the Miami Heat. They went on a 4-game losing streak, and they won 2 now. They're 2-4 now. They were looking absolutely horrible.
Yep.
Yeah, they were looking absolutely horrible. So that was not fun to see them being so bad. But they're gaining their way back. So now they're 2-4. So they just need to work together better. And I think they got a good coach down there. I trust them doing good. So that was my one big shocker for me, was the Heat, other than the Bucks both themselves. But everybody else on the bottom, I kind of expect it. The Wizards, Jason talked about them. We can agree on all his standpoints. Shout out Corey Kispert. Love that man. But everybody else, it seems pretty, the Hornets, same. Raptors, Bulls, Cavs, I had all of them down. New York Knicks a little bit low, but plenty of time. I'm not too worried about them.
Going back to the Wizards, I think, honestly, when the leaders of your team are now Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, it's not going to be the most promising thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, when I saw Jordan Poole go over there, I didn't really think much of it. I knew it wasn't going to do anything for that team. So they're probably going to struggle this year. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the offseason, but nothing's going to happen with them.
Yeah. No.
Any other teams possibly in the West? Any other teams that you're kind of shocked by, or any other comments? Just kind of looking at standing so far, or records of teams.
I already gave my opinion on the Thunder. My opinion on the Grizz. They're just doing not too shabby. They're 3-3.
With Simon's out, I'm impressed, and with the poor play from Scoob, we'll get to more of that in a minute. I'm impressed.
And DeAndre,
they have 3 wins, and the poor play of DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, he started doing bad at the beginning, but he's picked his shit up the last few games.
Better have.
Yeah. So he's doing a lot better now. He's a great defense piece for them. Other than that, I don't think there's too much shocking up there. Warriors and Nuggets are tied at 5-1, so not huge there. Suns, we already talked about how they're disappointing. Sacramento's just kind of mid. I don't know. They've just been on and off.
Yeah, now with De'Aaron out, it might take some time.
They play the Lakers.
Yeah,
they weren't looking great against Lakers.
Yeah, so we'll see. Jason, any thoughts on any teams? Anything?
No, Denny, no real other thoughts. A lot of basketball left. It's time of year exciting season.
Plenty of basketball left. Oh yeah.
So I talked about this play-in tournament, playing tournament, the mid-season tournament,
the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
I
think it's an exciting idea. I think it's a little silly the way they rolled it out, but overall excited.
Yeah, God, we have a lot to talk about with the in-season tournament. Before we get to that, we're just gonna kind of go through a couple of rookies real quick. Starting off with Scoot, he's kind of had a slow start. Matt, what are your thoughts looking at kind of at stats so far, and his minutes? What are your thoughts?
He kind of sucks. not to be blunt,
Yeah.
but this is not at all what you're expected to do as a second overall pick. Like, yeah, no, this is unacceptable. He needs to do better.
And I mean, I realize that they now have Brogdon kind of leading that backcourt with Simons out, but I feel like Scoot should still be getting a lot of opportunities to get shots up and just get some experience going, and it doesn't really seem like it's been going well for him. Through 5 games, he's averaging 9, 2, and 4, 34% from the field, 10% from the 3. He's taking about 10 shots a game, so he's getting opportunities to get shots up. They're just not falling.
Yeah,
I personally haven't seen too many games for the Blazers, so I don't know if that's because he's taking, forcing bad shots, or if he's just missing shots in general. But obviously we're only 5 games in. We've seen what Scoot can do in the G League. I mean, he's very impressive, and so maybe this is just some growing pains. Adjusting to the league is always different. So with time, I think he should improve. Jason, do you have any thoughts on Scoot Henderson?
It was pretty shocking with how bad he started off the season, and just like a lot of the athleticism. It's just trying to get into a system too. Like, it is G League is definitely, it's an interesting league for good development and as another option opposed to college, but it's just not the same. It's not the association that everyone's used to playing in. So I think he's just still getting adjusted here. I'd be shocked if he ends up this low and doesn't have some sort of correction back up towards the top with the other rookies around Chet and Wemby, because I think on this Blazers team, there's a lot of opportunity for him to grow, and kind of, we saw that with Jalen Green last year, if he did a good job of growing into his role on the team. And I think something similar will happen here with Scoot.
I like that comparison. And maybe it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, maybe right now with Simons out, maybe Brogdon will take more of kind of that facilitating role. Scoot can be more of a scorer for now, and then when Simons comes back, maybe that'll change. But I agree. I think with time, just growing with the offense, getting more chemistry with players, everything should be going well. Moving on to our next person, Mr. Wembanyama. I think, Matt, I will start off talking about him first, just because he is my projected rookie of the year.
Mistakenly.
He's been, the 2 games I've watched him play in were both the Suns games, and I think watching those as time went on, especially into game 2, he was progressively looking better and more comfortable. Game 1, 18, 8, and 4 blocks. He really started getting going in the second half. Was part of that run that brought him back from down 20, and then the game-winning layup, of course. And then going into game 2, 2 days later, finished with a career-high 38, 10 boards, hit 3 threes, 2 blocks. I think what we see with Wembanyama is just, it's obviously just the height, being able, I think, to run the floor with that ball handling ability is pretty special. Right now he's averaging 28 boards and 2 blocks. The Spurs have looked impressive so far in the season. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, both are really strong guards for him. Zach Collins has been looking impressive down low with Wembanyama. This will be an interesting team to look at. But watching the last 2 games that Wembanyama's played, I've been very impressed. Matt, I know that you are a Chet guy, but do you have any thoughts on Wembanyama 5 games in?
I got 2 quotes. One's from Dylan Brooks and one's from Shaq.
Let's hear them.
One from Dylan Brooks is, Dylan Brooks was asked about Victor Wembanyama, because obviously nothing but the media is just all over Victor Wembanyama. The man fucking takes a jump, and the world knows. And so the quote from Dylan Brooks is, he's asked about Victor Wembanyama and asked about his play, and all Dylan Brooks said, he's just tall. And I felt that, because we already have plenty of tall guys out here. He's not even the tallest guy in the league. So what differentiates him from those other guys that are that big?
Have you been impressed with his play though?
Yeah, no, I've been impressed. That's what I was getting to. He's good. He is good. But now to quote Shaq, what he said, everybody says, he says he's never seen a guy like Wembanyama. Yes, you have. His name is Bol Bol. Bol Bol just don't play hard. And I think there's a few handful of people that are just like Bol Bol, Chet Holmgren. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it now. And a few other guys, there's these big guys that are playing like that. So yeah, we have seen a Victor Wembanyama, and it just proves it that way. But yeah, this man is playing hard. He's 19 years old. That's kind of just insane. When I was 19. But no, he's good. Obviously, I do. As any normal person would, I get annoyed with the media hype. No, he's good. I just don't. I
just want to say. I want to say one thing. Wemby and Chet, kind of the same kind of build or whatever. But that Shaq quote comparing him to Bol Bol, I think is a little ridiculous. Obviously, maybe they're the same build, but if you look at Bol Bol's highlights, I think he only really had highlights when he was in high school and people were questioning how old he was and what grade he was in.
He played good for Oregon.
He played well for Oregon, but after that, he really hasn't done anything. Maybe necessarily hasn't gotten the chance, but I get what Shaq's trying to say with that quote, but I just think you can't even compare Wemby to Bol Bol like that. Wemby's already years ahead of Bol Bol, I think. That's all I got to say on that. Jason, what are your thoughts on Wembanyama? Anything you got to say?
Said a little bit earlier, it's just a bad look for poor Matt over here for how much he hates this generational talent. He's going to be in the lead for years, and this man just despises him because he's stealing the spotlight from Chet because LeBron stepped on Chet's ankle. So, here we are. We all made it here today because of all those events, but I think Wemby's awesome. I think he's going to be... I didn't know he was only 19. That fact has missed me up until now, and that's fucking crazy.
He's a youngin'.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome because he's going to be around for so long to torture Matt and to do some really awesome basketball things too. So I'm excited to see him grow, and the fact that he's just doing this, this Spurs team isn't awesome. He doesn't have the people that Chet has around him, and not discounting what Chet's doing either, but I think it's just giving Victor a little bit more of a edge up there of he's kind of doing this with not a lot of great pieces around him to kind of show how freaking awesome he is.
I think we're gonna be witnessing history with both Wemby and Chet for years to come, and I'm excited to see them both. But moving on to Chet, Matt, let's talk about him. 5-6 games in? How's he looking? How's the team looking? What are your thoughts?
First of all, Jason, was a Lafrenic injury, and it's on the top of your foot, not on the side of his foot, just to let you know. And it's a real serious injury, and he took the entire year to recover it, and he's still fucking balling out here, okay? He's averaging more blocks than Wemby in this game. He's the difference that splits Chet from Wemby is the fact that Chet is playing a true number 5, a true center for the Thunder is what he's listed at. He's playing there, and he's their only big guy on that team. Versus the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama is not playing the true 5. He's playing the more of the 4 role, and you got Zach Collins down there playing, called Zags, another Zag boy, my guy, coming out of Las Vegas. But yeah, you have other big guys there, but the difference is Wembanyama is the entire lifeline support for that Spurs team. If they didn't have him, they would not be winning games. I just 100% believe that. Kind of like Jason's talking about the different guys around him. But you still have Chet having this kind of performance, not a performance slightly under Victor's, and he's still putting up these points, putting up these stats with guys around him, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had over 30 points per game last year. He's averaging almost 26 right now. And you have that, J-Dubs, and you have Josh Giddey out here just crazy in the assist floor. And, they have a lot of depth players, and they have another rookie that's also helping them out, Cason Wallace, in the perimeter. So I think, yes, I will admit Victor played better than Chet so far. but I still think Chet just has so much room for improvement, and I think Chet has a lot more that he can prove rather than we know kind of what we've seen with Wemby. We know what to expect out of Wemby, and I think Chet has nothing but time to prove them wrong. And yeah, he's part of a good system with the OKC over there. And, you know, he got his big NBA moment in the crossover here in Seattle with LeBron on the LeBron. Oh my God, I'm not even trying to pronounce it again.
It was an unfortunate injury, though.
Unfortunate injury is very rare.
That was tough. It was the fucking floor being slick from the condensation of the thousands of people trying to cram into SPU.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going, though.
But tell me this. Do you know who the last rookie that came in and got injured and didn't play his first year, but came back the next year? Like, not last big star that we know.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I feel like I should know.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. He won MVP this last year.
Oh, that's right.
Joel Embiid.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, that man came back his second year after, you know, the history shows that like a big man, especially coming into the league and getting injured early on in his career, the odds do not look very good. But JoJo proved that wrong, and I think Chet's in the same boat, and he's looking like it so far. So
I also just really like this starting five they have. I think it's a solid starting five. We saw what they did last year towards the end of the season. I mean, comparing it to the Spurs, you know, it's a better starting five, obviously. And we both projected it. We both have them projected top 6 in the league in the West this year. So we're both expecting good things from them. Excited to see what they're gonna do. Jason, any thoughts on the Thunder or Chet?
No, Matt and I can discuss more offline. It's just ridiculous. We'll be beating around the same bush all season. I can feel it. So I think we do have a bet of whoever ends up better gets a beer or something, but
There we go.
I won't hold you to that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
oh, he's not written down, folks. So no,
There we go.
I was
All
like
right.
excited to see these rookies. I think it'll be a really fun year for them, and excited to see them grow. And I think the in-season tournament will be a great opportunity see them shine there. So.
Yep. And one last thing I'll say about Chet, which I said it in the last episode. The thing that really is just impressive about him is obviously we didn't see him play. You know, in his first year, he was hurt, and what he was doing in preseason, what he's doing so far in the season, is already just super impressive. Because I feel like we didn't even know what he was capable of.
Remind me real quick. Who won that first game of the actual preseason head-to-head matchup?
That matchup.
Who won that matchup?
That Chet matchup.
Just remind me.
Who won it? Who was it?
Oh, it was Chet Holmgren, baby. He played better. He had more points. He played 3 less minutes than Wemby that night.
Do we know when their next matchup is, by the way?
I don't, but we'll be definitely talking about it once it happens.
November 14th in a in-season tournament game.
Oh, baby.
So they're both in the same group. All right. We'll
just like Jason said, in-season tournament's going to bring out some competition.
Yeah.
People.
Hey, literally on the money, Jason. Yo.
Book it in your calendars. November 14th.
Yep.
Chet Holmgren and the new generational talent, Victor Wembanyama. Jason wants to talk shit. Yeah, I got that bet written down. Don't you damn well forget it. And I'm so excited. I'm going to enjoy that beer. I'm going to get a nice stein from the fucking beer garden at the beer hall. Anyways.
Don't bring your Mariner stein. It'll fucking break.
Real quick, Thompson twins. So we have Asher and Amin Thompson. Yeah. Amin was drafted first, correct, to the Houston Rockets. Yep. And Asher was drafted directly after him to the Pistons.
Yep.
Give me your thoughts on them. What do you expect? What do you got?
So Amin went down with a grade 2 ankle sprain the other day. He's going to miss some time. But before that, honestly, before the injury, he had a pretty slow start.
On a struggling Rockets team.
On a very struggling Rockets team. I think he has to kind of find his role in a backcourt like that, especially with Jalen Green and now Fred VanVleet coming in. You know, again, being in a new system, it may take time, but he really was not playing well. I've been more impressed with the SAR on the Pistons. Through 5 games, he's averaging 11, 9 boards, and 4 assists in about 29 minutes. It really seems like he's been playing efficient minutes. I'm excited about that Pistons team. I've said it, I'm a Cade Cunningham fan. I'm expecting a lot this year out of them. So Asar's been impressive. He's been doing kind of what we've seen. As I mentioned in the last episode, he was the MVP of the Overtime Elite League that they played in. And Amen's just, he's had a slow start on a struggling team, and now he's going to miss some time. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens while he's out. And then when he comes back, Matt, what are your thoughts on both those guys?
Yeah, Scher's look really freaking good. And he's trying to prove, obviously it's not fair because, stupid early, and that's not fair that his brother got injured, but he's trying to prove here that he's the better brother. And he's good. He's doing really good. I'm really excited for the Thompson twins. Sad that his brother's out, but Scher's doing great for the Detroit Pistons. They're actually not doing that half bad, so they're definitely shocking me a little bit. Cade Cunningham's great. Having his sophomore year. So, yeah. All right, Denny, we're moving on.
We're about to.
Thoughts?
Yeah, we're about to go into the in-season tournament. Really quick before we go, one underdog rookie you've had.
I hate to be cliche, but I think I'm gonna go Cason Wallace. Just because I actually doubted him more than I'm not sure. I think we talked about in the last podcast. I actually really wanted Derek Lively instead of Cason Wallace. He's actually balling out. He's averaging 8.3 points per game right now. He's doing lockdown defense. Yeah, I really like him out here. But if I take the non-biased out of there, I'm probably going Scher Thompson. He's doing really good. We just talked about him. He's he's producing on all ends of the floor as well. So it's not he's just shooting good, but yeah, he's helping his Pistons out. So I'll take Scher / Cason Wallace.
I like it. Yeah, no, he's been hooping. They've both been playing well. I had a couple guys I was really looking at. It was kind of hard to decide who I wanted, but who I'm going to go with, Jordan Hawkins. He is the guard out of UConn. He's been playing well. He's a good shooter.
Huge defensive piece for them.
Yep. He's a good shooter. Yep. So I'm expecting big things out of him. He had a really good last year at UConn. And now going into the in-season tournament, kind of what we're going to wrap up this episode with today. Obviously, tonight was the first night of games. Games for group play are going to be Tuesdays and Fridays for about a month before they move into the knockout round, which is going to essentially be just single elimination. Then the semis and championship are going to be in Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. This just seems like a really big money grab, with the incentive only being, what was it? I think it's the winning team each player gets $500K. For a lot of the bigger teams, that really doesn't mean anything. Those guys could probably care less about that. Just kind of looking at the overall concept of this, the winnings. What are your overall thoughts on this whole tournament?
I think it's exciting. I just think that
it'll definitely, it'll bring in viewers and kind of get some excitement going.
I think it's good. I think it creates a little bit more competition, even if it's very minimal. I think it does create more competition than a regular season game. But I just wish this tournament had a little bit more just purpose in general. So I don't know. It feels kind of useless. Yeah, it is 100% just a money cow and cash cow or whatever you want to say. But it's interesting. There's some ideas out there floating around on Twitter of just some ideas of what winning the tournament can do for you, possibly in a playoff implication. There's Jason
I think that would be a lot better.
Yeah, Jason was discussing me and telling me earlier that some people had ideas of where if they won, they can get the 10 seed in the play-in.
You get a guaranteed spot in the top 10. I agree. Yeah.
Stuff like that would be cool.
Dude, everyone would fucking go for that then.
Yeah.
Especially those bottom tier teams who know they're going to be fighting to kind of get in there.
Yeah, and
to have that luxury.
if that happen, something like that happened, you have a team. So take last year, for example, the 2-10 Lakers started out, who they traded Russ, they got D'Lo, so a completely different team at the end of the season, and they made it to the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets. So it kind of sets up things for, well, that's the thing. You can see the beauty and the health of it. You can start really hot and just be absolute shit for the rest of the season,
Right.
and then still have yourself time to prove yourself in a play-in situation, or the other way around, where you just absolutely did not get the play-in, and then you're fighting for the last play-in spots at the end. It could also be really tough. So it's an interesting tournament.
Just interesting concept. I understand they're doing it for money and viewership and all
It's
that
also,
fucking
yeah,
bullshit. You know,
we
it's all.
talked about
It's
the courts.
at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah, it is a business.
It's a business, and that's what they're doing it for.
The finals are in Vegas.
Yep, the semis and the finals are in Vegas. T-Mobile Arena.
Yep, where the Vegas Golden Knights play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jason, thoughts on the play-in tournament? Or God, it's gonna be weird to start calling this different thing now. Thoughts on the in-season tournament?
In-season tournament, I'll be interested to see how many more people they get watching, or if it gets people talking about it, or if it's just kind of a little bit of a gimmick right now. I think the Tuesdays, Fridays is pretty smart for games, because it's like, oh yeah, they're like not really competing against anything other than like college football or maybe a hockey game or two. So it's an interesting idea. I think it will be. I tuned in tonight. It was kind of fun watching as a more casual fan to see games were close and interesting. So I think that definitely helped with tuning in. But
what'd you think of the courds?
no, I couldn't stand the courts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just my eyes hurt watching it. I feel like I don't know what I'm like.
Yeah.
I just don't know what I'm looking at.
Was the purpose of those courts just for this tournament?
Yeah,
Or was
no, that's
there-
just for the tournament. It's just for Tuesday, Fridays. They'll have their special courts out there. So I'm sure
I
the
don't get
arenas
that.
love paying their people more money to switch over the
Oh, yeah.
courts. But
feel bad for those workers.
yeah,
Sorry, guys. I don't understand it.
it's an interesting. It's a tough one. I don't get it
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. Obviously, so we got about a month of group play games. Everyone plays, I think, 2 home games and 2 away games against the other 4 teams in their group. We got 3 groups. 3 groups per conference. They all look, somewhat balanced. I can't remember how the picking was.
Give me your thoughts on this real quick.
Yep.
So why do you like this or do you not like this? Also, why do you think they did it this way, of why they have 3 different groups in each conference instead of just doing what their divisions already are? So they're not in their they're not playing their divisional. They could have one of their divisional rivals in here, but it's not just a divisional matchup. Why is it not a divisional matchup? Thoughts whether you want a divisional matchup or not, or you like the way it is right now that's kind of randomized?
I think for this being kind of like a different kind of tournament, I kind of like how it's randomized. Obviously it's still staying in the same conference, but I think it brings a little bit more excitement. Just so it's not necessarily teams all in the same division fighting like they do every year. I was reading something earlier about how the groups were picked, like kind of like the draw. It was really some complicated thing. Yeah, so 5 different pots, and each pot had like a different record in terms of standing in your conference.
Yeah.
So for example, pot 1, all the teams that were in pot 1 were the teams with the 3 best records in the conference from the season before.
Oh, okay.
Pot 2 was the teams with the 4th to the 6th best records.
Okay.
And so essentially what they did is they picked 1 from each of those pots and then put them into a group. And that's how those groups were created.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like one of the top 3, one of the 4 through 7 or 6, one of the 7 through 9, 10 through 12, and then 13 through 15. And they put them all into a group together. And so that's the reason why I kind of like it. For the whole reason of this tournament in general is supposed to be for excitement and viewers and money. And so I think this is a good way to kind of change it up, make it different. So it'll make it more exciting. I think it's, the top team from each group makes it to the knockout round, and then there's 2 wild card teams. It gets a little complicated for how the wild card teams look. I don't even know if I can actually explain it in words, but you guys can go look that up. But yeah, kind of wrapping all that up, the in-season tournament, it's going to bring in fans. It'll hopefully bring in some excitement. The courts suck, and we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. With, as I mentioned, we got a month of games, so we'll definitely be checking back in. But I think that kind of wraps up our episode today, Matt.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a good episode. I want to thank Jason out here for helping us join today. First guy on the podcast. It's not me and Denny. And hope to have you here more, Jason.
Any last thoughts, Jason, before we sign off today? We appreciate you being here, man. Thank you very much.
I really appreciate the invite, guys. Glad to come on. My socials will be in the description of the pod, so drop a follow there if you want some great retweets and likes out there on the Bird app. And excited for the season here. I think Pistons are taking it all too in the in-season tournament. I think they're gonna get hot. I think it's a Tate coming out party.
Yeah,
they'll still finish bottom third of the Eastern Conference. They'll be like an 11 seed, but
they'll get $500K each. So that's
exactly.
They're not going to get a guaranteed spot, but they get $500K.
That goes far.
Yeah, exactly. One thing on Detroit, someone who I've been very impressed by, Jalen Duren, second-year center for him, has been playing lights out. Injured now. We'll kind of see how it is. Thank you everyone for tuning into the pod today. We'll be back probably for week at the end of week 3 of hoops. We're in week 2 right now, about to go into week 3.
Yeah, so we'll be back around for the week 4.
Okay,
we'll come back. We'll take a relook at just kind of where things have happened the last few weeks, and we'll adjust our thoughts and see if there's any more big stories coming in. So thanks for listening. Go ahead and retweet us everywhere and put us on Instagram, whatever you can do.
I think we have what's our Instagram?
We got an Instagram called Bankshot Degen. I think that's just straight up that way. I think it's just all one word. So we're gonna start posting some content on there, some clips from the podcast, and maybe some things. Yeah, Bankshot Degen, it's all one word. We start posting on there. Make sure to hit the poll in the episode right here. And then, so we're going to have you vote on who you think is going to win the whole entire in-season tournament. And like we said, Jason put his pick out there. He's going to manifest to Detroit. He thinks Kate coming out parties, so to speak. So, yeah, go ahead, put your pick down there. And
if you guys ever have any topics that you want us to discuss any given week, just send them to us, and we will add them into the agenda, and we will discuss them. And we're going to be having more special guests as we kind of keep growing. This is episode 2 for us, but Matt and I are very invested in this, and we're excited. We're both just NBA heads, so this is easy money for us. It's light work. We're just talking hoops. So appreciate you guys for listening in.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. We're out of here.
Go Cougs, go Sonics.
Go Cougs, go Zags, go Sonics, go Thunder.